What's up, guys? Thanks for listening to Channel MMA. This is another episode of What's Next. What's next for Iaquinta? Man, this guy went out at UFC on Fox 31, the final Fox card. Farewell to Fox. He went out there and really had a classy ass performance against Kevin Lee. He looked like, I really thought that this fight was brilliant, to be honest. I've already watched it 3 times. I didn't get a chance to watch it when it first aired, so I had to watch it on one of these shady websites. But the good thing about that is I could just keep watching it back to back to back, so it was pretty fun. Al Iaquinta had an amazing fight game plan. Oftentimes from this camp that he is at, Ray Longo, Matt Serra camp, I always feel like the game plan is not always as tight as it could be. It's not always tightened up as it could be, but they have a great fighter in Al Iaquinta. Al Iaquinta came out in the first round. He was threatening that single leg, kept threatening the single leg, but he never actually attempted it. He just would feint down to the single leg, and then after he made Kevin Lee start to bite on those feints, this guy was stringing together combinations off of a feint to a single leg, feint down to the single leg, spinning elbow, landing to the head. Feint down to the single leg kick, 1-2. I mean, it was really a brilliant performance. He outsmarted Kevin Lee the whole time. He really didn't have much for the wrestling, but his defense was quite well. For those rear naked chokes, he kept his hands high around the ears so that Kevin Lee could never get that choking hand around. He could never get up underneath the chin or even get around the face. Like, he couldn't even threaten. So I thought that was really good. Defense was well. Whenever Al Iaquinta saw his opening, he went for it. He saw the opening and would try to reverse. And usually it would just end up in being a stand-up and him being able to stand back up. But it was a great fight. Al Iaquinta was throwing power in the first, second, and third round. He was throwing power. In the break between the third and the fourth, Ray Longo said, look, you're going to have to throw some heavy leather right now. Throw power. Hit him hard. He has nothing left. He keeps going to the wrestling well. That's what his camp was telling, his coaches were telling him, and Al Iaquinta did just that. He went out in the fourth round and he started to crack Kevin Lee. I mean, that first minute of the fourth round was beautiful. I mean, he was just piecing him up. Boom, boom. I mean, the amount of power that Al Iaquinta can muster up is very interesting because he's such a small fighter. For 155, does anybody else think that? I mean, maybe it's just me. I know Kevin Lee is big for the weight class, but Al Iaquinta looks really small for the weight class. I'm not sure what his walking around weight is, but he looked really tiny. But the one thing I'll say about Al Iaquinta, if you watch his feet, he keeps his feet, he keeps crouched down in a very compact stance. So he's already taken a little bit of power just from being more compact. But also he keeps both of his feet planted dead on the ground. He has great foot movement, but he doesn't stay on his toes. He doesn't always stay on his toes. I actually am really impressed with Al Iaquinta. The only thing about Al is that, he can really get upset and then spaz out about things, and then you don't see him fight for a while. So when I say this, what's next, I'm saying it with trepidation, to be honest. I'm saying it with trepidation because we probably won't see this fight, but I know Al Iaquinta went out there. He called out, it sounded like he was calling out Conor. I'm not quite sure, but it sounded like he was calling out Conor. But then it also kind of sounded like he was calling out Khabib. And then in the post-fight interview, he was calling out Tony Ferguson. All of it was strange to me. I was just like, Al, damn, Al, get it together. So I'm gonna say that I think he was calling out. I'm going to go with the Tony Ferguson call out because he actually said it. He said that he feels like he could beat Tony Ferguson. So I'm going with that call out, but that's not my what's next. I want to see Al Iaquinta is number 8 in the division. I understand that he stepped up on a week's notice to fight Khabib, but that doesn't mean that he is now all of a sudden in that top mix of fighters of the Tony Ferguson, the Conor McGregor, the Dustin. Conor should not be in the talks. Tony Ferguson, the Dustin Poirier talk. The Khabib Nurmagomedov talk, none of that should be, I don't think he should be entertaining that at all. Nobody should be entertaining that. Who I want to see Al Iaquinta fight next, there's Anthony Pettis, there's Justin Gaethje, there's Edson Barboza ahead of Al Iaquinta. There's 2 fights that interest me. The Justin Gaethje fight and the Edson Barboza fight. I believe that if Iaquinta went in there with either of the two, that he would beat them. Both of them. I think the more exciting fight for Iaquinta is probably going to be Justin Gaethje. It's probably going to be Gaethje. It is. And I think a win over Gaethje would send him up into the top 5. I know Edson Barboza just had that really great win, but Edson Barboza is still just Edson Barboza. He's all leg kicks and no gas tank. I mean, I liked Edson Barboza's fight as well, but it's like, I think there's a different fight out there for Edson Barboza. I will do a what's next for him. Anyways, guys, my pick for what's next for Iaquinta after that brilliant performance at UFC on Fox 31 is Justin Gaethje. Make this fight sooner than later, matchmakers. Make this fight sooner than later, because if Iaquinta gets pissed off, we won't see him for 6 or 7 months. Let this guy pick up on this momentum. He fought Khabib. Now he went out there and outclassed and outworked Kevin Lee. If he can go out there and starch Justin Gaethje, we can really see him rise to contendership. Real contendership. Not this fake ass contendership where you step up on short notice and now all of a sudden you're a contender. No. We're thankful that he stepped up, but let's see this rise. Let's see him rise up to the top. Anyways, guys, that's my fight pick. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts in the comment section.